All right.
Okay.
This is your recording. Not visually, but
Okay, so those childhood experiences, I think, brought me to a place later on in my life, which I didn't recognize was coming, to be able to look at dying in a different way. Maybe I needed to do that because I didn't know how to grieve, and so as I got older and experienced death and closely, related people and being with them at the moment they died and through their dying process, it did impact me and teach me how to accept it, how to say that it was okay, it's a part of life. It's a sad part, but it's a part we have to deal with. The fact that Bob and I knew from the time we got married that his life could end at any minute because of his severe heart problems was another way I had to deal with death during a really happy time of my life, because I knew it was always a possibility because of his severe heart problems. He told me that when he proposed to me. He said, "The doctors told me I only have 10 years to live. Do you still want to marry me?" And I said, "Do that. If we only have 10 years together, I know this will be a good 10 years." And we made it a great 10 years. Not a good, but a great. And that's why we did things. And that's why he was always such a, goer and a doer. And he dragged me right along, and I went because I said, I don't know how long this is going to last. It could be tomorrow. And then he would have episodes with his heart where he almost died several times. And the doctors were amazed. They said, "We don't know why you're still alive." And we got an extra 20 years. We got an extra 20 years, together so that we could enjoy life and experience things together. And during that process, yes, I experienced other people's deaths, but in a way, I was sort of preparing myself. I was sort of grieving through a lifetime and learning about death because of, being with him. That was another component of grief and death and that whole process. It was always there. It was always in the back of my mind, how will I handle this? So when other people, as I, got older and other people got older and died, I knew, I sort of like knew how to go in and be a comfort and to not be fearful of it and to know, okay, I'm already dealing with this, so this is what it's going to be. I've got one part of it here on a daily basis that there's always that possibility in the back of my mind. But here's the reality. Okay, if this is what the reality is, I understand it, and now I can deal with it. And when Bob's sister died, I became a Stephen minister. And part of that whole thing was learning about how to help people through a dying process and a grieving process. And then when Bob's sister died, I was asked by the chaplain if I would take on the part of helping her set herself right with God, because she was in a really, really bad place and had been away from God for a long time in a not so good lifestyle. And for some reason, this chaplain wasn't going to be there over the weekend where we knew she might die. And the chaplain asked me, "Since you're a Stephen minister, will you take over her spiritual care while I'm not here? Because I know you have the training." And I said, "Yeah, I'll do that." I had to think about it. Because I thought, this is a huge responsibility, So what will I say? What will I do? Well, I just knew. I just knew she needed someone to comfort her, to say the words that her life meant something, that whatever she did, God forgave her. All she has to do is ask, and He will accept that. And she struggled and struggled with her dad. As soon as we started, I just said a couple of prayers I thought she might remember and talk to her a little bit about that. As soon as we did that, she became comfortable. And as I can remember going through all of these deaths, like with Bob's parents, with Bob, with my cousin, with a couple of other people, a good friend, every person who had faith died more easily than the people who did not. The people who had no faith in God, no hope for anything else, struggled with their death. It was very interesting to have watched the number of people and been with them, and held their hand when they were dying. They struggled. And those who had faith had a much easier death, much easier. I talked to my pastor about that, and he said, "You're right." He said, "You're right. If they've made peace through their life with things and have some faith, and even at the end, if they can find that, they die much more easily."
Well, I wonder if that's just a reflection of not feeling like it's the end. You know what I mean? For some people, they're like, this is it. And for them, they're like, this is the beginning.
I screwed my life up big time, so now where am I going to go?
That's cool.
Yeah, it has been, the whole thing about grief has been a life-changing thing for me. I did not realize I was going to be a part of helping people grieve until I grieved deeply. It shook me to my core.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was like, it was like I was going through a different time and space and didn't know where I was going to end up, and knew that the pain was so deep that if I didn't do something about it could take over. That's how deeply I grieved. And so I said, "You're just going to go through this. The only way to get to the other side is to go through it. You cannot bury grief. You cannot bury it, because it will come back. It will come back, and it'll come back in the physical form, and your health will deteriorate. It can come back in flashbacks. It can close you off from the world. It can lead you to trying to find ways to forget about it. Drugs, alcohol, those kinds of things. So the only way to get past it is to go through it.
Very smart. That's good. Good approach.
And I did. I just went headlong into it, and I said, I'm going through this grief share process. I'm going to learn what it's all about. I want to know that the feelings I'm experiencing are not crazy, that I'm not going out of my mind, that I can have a happy life again, that I can get to the other side of it and hold on to good memories and not have them make me sad.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm not sad at times. That's normal. That's normal. to experience a feeling of,
Yeah.
oh, I wish, he were still here to share this with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, but my memories, I think one of the really interesting things about it is that you have a tendency to forget anything bad that might have happened.
Yeah.
If you loved deeply, you will grieve deeply, and you forget those bad little moments. They mean nothing. The focus is on, we had a great life together, and those are the things I want to remember. That you just kind of tuck them away in your heart, and you say, they're there. I can pull them out anytime I want to think about them.
Mm-hmm.
They've helped to make me who I am. I know I'm a strong person, and so therefore, I knew I could do this. I knew I could get through it. And believe me, I had a lot of talks with God. I wasn't happy for a while with him. Why didn't you do this?
Yeah,
but
neither was I.
And then I said, well, why not? So, I don't have, I guess it was like, wait a minute, my life changed and I didn't give it permission. I did not give my life permission to change.
Yeah, we kind of have that sense of need for control, don't we?
Yeah, and it's about saying, this is a process. This is a part of life. So you either deal with it or you don't deal with it. And how do you deal with it? If you learn, you'll get well through a grieving process. If you learn about it, if you deal with it, if you talk about the feelings, you will get better. If you choose to stuff them down in your gut's going to get sick. It's going to get real sick. So, am I happy now? Relatively. I can smile, I can enjoy myself, I can do things, different things. I've had to learn a whole different way of life.
Yeah.
Didn't want to, but knew I would have to. And I'm capable. I can do it. And during the process, you learn different things about different people. And some people stop talking to you because they don't know what to say. And then you think you've lost your friend. And you have. And so you have to sometimes reach out. But people don't like to talk about grief. They don't like to talk about death. There's a fear associated with, oh gosh, what do I say? How do I say it? How do I deal with this? What do I do? And so it's about becoming comfortable with another part of life. And it's raw.
Yeah.
And it hurts. And how strong am I? Do I need some help? What can I do? How do I do this? I was pretty stubborn. I didn't ask for a lot of help in going through it. I said, I gotta do this my way. Well, sometimes my way wasn't so good, And when I asked for help, it was there. It was always there. It's just that I'm the kind of person who likes to be driving the boat.
Yeah, aren't we all?
So, where am I now with it? Happier than I was when it happened. more confident that my life will have some meaning and purpose. I'm always looking to make my life better. And, you know, I pray every single morning without fail. That's the first thing I do when I get up. I sit for an hour and have my coffee, and I pray. I have a little book, has just a prayer for the day, and it's called Jesus Calling. I say that, and I just sit there and I meditate on that for a while, and that sets the tone for my day to get through whatever it is. It's like, okay, I've got to remember that. And then I don't always remember. Sometimes I forget. But without fail, every single day since God died. I've never failed to do that. And that, I think my faith has just continued to strengthen me through this whole process. I just believe God has another plan for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. One of my really good friends, who's a Stephen minister, said, Shirley, maybe where you are right now with your grandkids, with Ryan and with Christina, maybe that's your plan. Did you ever think about that? No. Maybe I'm just supposed to be a grandmother, just granny.
Yeah, you're a good one.
So I'm sort of floundering a little, but I know that I know I've gone through my grief pretty well. It's at times was really, really hard, and I would try to put on a good face most of the time when I was working and with people. And people I'd say, oh, you're doing so well. And I'd say, some days. I said, you don't see me on the days or the evenings where I sit alone with the loneliness and cry. But I allow that to happen because that's what I needed to do. I just allowed it to be there, to acknowledge it, that, I'm lonely. I'm sitting here in this house all by myself. My partner is gone for good. He's not going to walk in that door.
Yeah.
The expectation of hearing the garage door open at a certain time of the day, preparing the meal at a certain time of the day, having a glass of wine at a certain time of the day, those are all gone. And so I would say this is the sad, hard part for me. The realization that this is it, but he's not here.
Would you say that your experience with Bob's death has been probably what you've learned the most from in terms of grieving?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I loved him so deeply. And that's the reason I grieved so deeply. Yeah. The other people I grieved for, the grief was shorter and different. With my parents, it was sad, but they were old, and it was their time to go, And when a person reaches age 85 or 95, you expect it to happen, so it's kind of like it's easier.
Yeah.
Your grief is there, but it doesn't last as long. At least it did not for me.
It's because you've prepared well.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I know Dad's heart is not good.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to die. He doesn't want to live. He's told us he doesn't want to. So, and Mom wanted to keep living, and she couldn't anymore. She was 92.
Wow.
Her body gave out.
Wow.
And that's what that's what happens. The body just gave out on her. A lot of the grief too has to deal with the relationship, the kind of relationship you have with the person, how long the grief lasts, and how intense it is, and the experience surrounding it. Just like I said, with the death of a grade school and a high school, those impacted me because nobody talked much about it, and nobody helped us understand too much because they were traumatic deaths. And then, when grandparents are 100 years old and they die, it's kind of like, I'm sure going to miss Grandma and I remember all the good times. But Grandma's 100.
Yeah.
Grandma's 90. And then having to be like with Bob's parents, with my cousin, with my girlfriend who died. Those were all different kinds of grieving processes. They were sad. And brother-in-law, that was a tough one. That was a tough one because that man lived a life that was not a good life. And I had a hard time dealing with that because I had to help care for him as I had promised I would, as being his power of attorney, and I could do a lot of stuff. But he lived a life that it was he was a bad man. He hurt people. He did bad things. And morally, I struggled. But I said, I gotta talk to somebody about this. And so I talked to a chaplain, and I said, here's the deal. This man is dying, and I have to be there for him, and I'm watching him. And I'm knowing I want to be compassionate because that's what I know I should do. That's a good thing. But it's really hard when you know someone has lived that kind of life. And it was really interesting, the answer the chaplain gave to me. He says, Shirley, just remember Jesus had Judas, and he loved him right to the end, no matter what. And I went, oh, thank you. Okay, now I can get through this. I understand. He said, your job is to really do what Jesus did. Just understand that that person did what he did because of who he was, and your job is to help him get to the other side and be compassionate and loving. That's all you need to do. You have to forget that he did all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he was the person who struggled the most dying. And he never resolved things. When I compare dying experiences like his with Bob's, Bob was so at peace. He just knew. He just knew it was time to let go, and he did. And he never struggled. He just knew. And I knew that. I could tell. I could tell the day his spirit left him. I walked in the room and I went, he's not here today. I just know he's gone. I knew he was gone. And it was like, that was on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he died on Sunday. So that was Friday, and right away I called the pastor and I said, come, Bob's gone today. He's still alive, but I know he's not here anymore. We need to start planning the service. And he came like immediately, and we talked, and I said, I know he's gone. And he says, you would know. He said, you would be the person who would know. So there's a lot of those kinds of experiences that I've had that have, I guess, given me insight into death and grieving, and then the other component is having gone through the Grief Share program and watching other people, listening to other people's experiences. A lot are the same.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of feels the same, but different. There's a process. It's a process you have to go through. And being able to help and understand that, yeah, there's 10 people in this room. We've all felt this. We've all felt that. We've all felt that. And yet we're all still here. And yet we're all moving through this whole thing. And some of us take a longer time than others. Everyone does their grieving in their own way.
Yeah.
It's very individual, yet it's the same. It's real hard to explain. We all experience the same processes, but at different times and in different ways, depending on what the relationship is about.
Cool. That's a good answer.
Okay, next question.
Okay. I'm gonna